And let's sit down, please. All right, shoulder out. Mokso. Yame. Kaijo nire. Nidame nire. Up here, please. Senpai nire. Otogai nire. Right, let's stand, please. Very good. Make sure you have enough space and loosen up. Twist at the waist. Really let those arms relax, shoulders relax. Make sure you bend the knees as you're twisting. Start to concentrate on the breathing now. So slowly in through the nose, slowly out through the mouth. And Nare. Hands together in front, please. Slowly, nice deep breath in through your nose. Inhale. Up over your head, focus the energy, then release. Exhale. Gather all the energy around you. Then inhale again. Pull to your hara, your center. And exhale, release and relax. Good, same thing again, please. Hands together. Knee, inhale. Exhale. Inhale again. And exhale, release all that energy. And one last time. Sun. Release. Inhale. And exhale down. Nare. Very good. So please sit, however you plan to sit. And again, just a quick reminder for everyone, making sure ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips, nice and tall. Keep the chin in, palms are up, thumbs lightly touching. Relax, make sure the shoulders stay nice and low. Your eyes about half closed, called hangam, and find a spot on the floor to keep your concentration. Will help you keep your posture, help you keep focus on your breathing. Try to let everything else just wait for a few minutes. We can get back to it later, okay? So posture and breathing and focus for now. Please bring your hands together in gassho. Okay, now eyes open all the way. Reaching your hands out front. Slowly now, nice deep breath in through your nose. Pull those hands back, palms up next to your chest. Then release. Exhale, same time, turn those palms over and push down towards the back. Again, reaching out. Knee. And exhale. And once more, please. Sun. Right. And loosen yourself up, please. Stand when you're ready. So again, this is a time where if we were all together, we would normally do moving Zen, kihin, walking meditation. But since we probably all are fairly limited in space for walking around safely, instead we'll do tachi Zen, standing meditation. So those of you who were in class last week got to experience this before, and some of you may have done this a long time ago. But it's a way we can stand still and breathe. So again, same posture. We want a nice tall spine. We want to keep the chin tucked in, ears, shoulders, hips in line. We're going to be standing, so we have to make sure that we have our knees bent a little bit, allows for good circulation, and to keep ourselves centered in the breathing and keeping our posture nice and strong. So we're going to put our hands together just like we did in the beginning. As we inhale, we're going to bring our hands up just like we did in the beginning, but we're also going to take our right leg, and what we're going to do is we're going to step forward, in and out like Sanchin Dachi, except we're going to end up in parallel stance. So again, seniors, you know this as Kuzure Eko Dachi. So you're going to have heel and toe in line, but a parallel stance when you get there. Right? So hands together, move the right foot out, parallel stance, keep the knees bent. Inhale, nice deep breath up. Same focus at the top. But when we exhale, come down, release the hands, but bring them down right in front of your shoulders. And you're going to stop at about your shoulder height, kind of pushing your shote forward just a little bit. And you're going to hold your arms in that position and just breathe nice and gently and evenly, the same way you did while you were sitting. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And bring the hands down in front again. This time your left foot steps forward. In and out. Again, staggered parallel stance. Then nice deep breath up over your head. Exhale, release, but come down in front, palms forward. Good, and bring the hands down. One last breath. This time pull the left foot backwards. We're going to end up in parallel stance. And our last breath now. In, up over the head. Right, focus and exhale, release, and come down in front. And now raise in and relax. Right, loosen the shoulders. Good. I would normally have you come and sit with me, but I have to come sit with you instead. Just a moment. Forgive me for crossing in front. I want to be on the side where I can see comments, and hopefully my audio is okay and you can hear me fairly quietly, or fairly well, I should say, not quietly. So I wanted to read just a little portion. I was rereading this book. I got it a few years ago. It's very interesting, and for those of you who are interested in kind of some of the history behind some of the things that we do in a dojo and why we do them, the book is actually called In the Dojo, and its author is Dave Lowry, and gives some of the history of some of the things that we do. And I was reading it again a couple of weeks ago, and came upon this chapter that he does on Mokuso and why we Mokuso and what that actually means. As with most things in Japanese, the ideographs, the kanji, come from like real life pictographs kinds of things. A lot of times they symbolize things in real life. And Mokuso, we know, means to close our eyes, but it also has multiple meanings. There are different ways to translate the characters and different ways to make the same make it sound the same, but the characters look a little bit different. So that's where some of this interpretation comes from. One of the meanings, breaking down Mokuso, that he talks about goes as follows. The mok of Mokuso means to silence. So means thoughts. Mokuso is sometimes thought of as a period of meditation. In a way, it is. A better way to think of it might be to consider it as a transitional period. Many people believe the dojo is a place of refuge, a place where the concerns of everyday life can be put aside. This can lead to some incorrect assumptions, though. The dojo is not an escape from everyday life. Rather, it is a place where one can confront the realities of our daily living, meet them in concentrated form, and learn to deal with them. The dojo is a microcosm, intensified, of our day-to-day existence and activities. As such, we approach what goes on there with more focus and intensity than we might in other areas of our lives. That requires a period of transition, and that is what the moments of Mokuso are all about. When we begin, the period of Mokuso allows us to silence whatever aggravations, concerns, desires, or anticipations we have had outside the dojo, to put them aside for the course of our practice. When we finish that practice, another period of Mokuso allows us to re-emerge, to come back to our lives outside the dojo. There is nothing particularly mystical or even transcendent in Mokuso. We are not striving for enlightenment as in our sitting, as might the Zen acolyte. We are merely transitioning, moving from one place into another. Neither special, neither extraordinary, but both are fundamental parts of our day. And I read that last week, and or actually 2 weeks ago now. The weeks have, this last week has been a heck of a year. I heard someone say that, and I agree. But that really spoke to me in the sense, especially with has really taken on new meaning for me in the last few days of all the things that are going on, and no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, no matter what was going on in your life a couple of weeks ago, I am willing to bet that it's different this week. And that last week was one of probably the biggest transitions that all of us have made in a really long time on many levels. And if your life was anything like mine, it probably wasn't very easy to make those transitions. But as karateka, as people who are used to working hard and putting our focus towards a task and challenging ourselves, I'm also willing to believe that we all just kind of put our energy into it and went to the next thing and went to the next thing and went to the next thing as best we could. And so I think that's one of the unique things that we get from our training that can really help us when life is kind of difficult. But I do feel like what he's talking about with this transition from real life into the dojo is such an important part, and whether even now when we all can't be in the dojo together, and even when we're not talking about sitting down and having a meditation class or training hard and having a physical karate class, sometimes we need those moments of transition, and we need to leave the difficulties and the concerns behind so that we can better be present for whatever is in front of us right now. And again, if you're like me, you may have some difficulty with that, because when you have a lot of things on your mind, when you have a lot of things you're trying to organize or fix or understand or put in motion, our brains can keep us pretty busy. And it's difficult to create a transition to a quieter state of mind. But I think that this whole idea, if we sit and we close our eyes, that's a very definitive transition. I'm no longer looking at what I was just looking at. I'm going to look inside for a little bit. I'm going to leave the other concerns behind. And when I open my eyes, I'm going to look at something new, or I'm going to look at the same things, but I'm going to look at them differently with a different quality. And I'm going to look for different things. I'm not going to look for difficulties. I'm going to look for success. I'm going to look for calm. I'm going to look for being present. So just the idea, the act of closing our eyes for a short period of time can really be a strong signal for us that we are leaving all of that difficulty behind for the moment and bringing ourselves into a different period. Now, don't get me wrong, closing your eyes doesn't make all of those things go away. And we all know that when we come to the dojo after a really long day, it feels great to work hard, but when we put our street clothes back on and we go home, all of those things that we left behind are still waiting for us. So we still have the responsibilities, we still have the difficulties, we still have whatever we left behind. So it doesn't change the circumstances, maybe, but having that moment to reflect, having that moment to transition puts us in a different position, puts us in a different energy, puts us in a different moment. So when we do have to return to the real world, which we always do, we hopefully have better perspective and better energy, better understanding, and we feel like we're in a stronger place. So when we have to go and deal with whatever's waiting for us, that we feel more prepared and we feel like we can really put our best self into tackling whatever is waiting for us. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought it was really very powerful. And in times like this where there are lots of transitions going on and lots of concerns for everybody, I think finding these moments where we can bring ourselves into the space of calm and out of the space of the worry and the chaos, anytime we can do that, it's going to be much better than if we're just kind of stuck in the churning and churning and churning of all the negativity that can start to overwhelm us when we think about something in a certain way for too long. So I hope that was helpful for you. I know it was helpful for me to reread it. So that's what I have to say tonight. So we certainly have a few minutes. Happy to see anybody type some comments in, and we can kind of share our reflections and share how we're doing. And if you have any comments or questions about the reading or anything else, please feel free. And Dion, to answer your question after the fact, absolutely. If you want to kneel without the bench, you are more than welcome to do that. Yes, Senpai, especially breathing. I wish we could tattoo those words on everybody, especially breathing. Manny, I enjoy your term, the ball of whateverness. It sounds about right, but I agree. There's, especially when you have a routine where you have created space, when that routine changes, you have to create new space, and it sometimes is very difficult to find a new routine and find something that can actually help. And I think that's one of our jobs in a time like this where we have so much transition going on all over the place. We really have to focus on finding those spots. They probably won't jump up and present themselves. We probably have to create them somehow. Yes, we all have lots of transitions happening. Dean, I agree. It's a very different situation when you're not able to see your friends and go places. It is very difficult. Unfortunately, that's the reality for all of us right now, and hopefully we can get through this as quickly as possible. In the meantime, I think it's okay. It's really important to know that it is weird. I don't have any other better way to say that. I don't think that trying to find a better feeling about something means you ignore the parts of it that are difficult, because I don't think there's anybody here tonight or anywhere who wouldn't agree that this is a pretty difficult situation we all find ourselves in. So we're not trying to, it's just like it was saying in the reading, we're not trying to ignore things that are going on. We're not trying to forget about them. They're not going to disappear. We just try to put ourselves in a better place to be okay with that. So I think it's really important to acknowledge that this is really hard for everybody. It's hard for people to be separated, and it's hard not to be able to go where we want and do what we want when we want. And that's very difficult. And at the same time, we realize that this is not going to be forever, and we can get through this the way we get through a lot of difficult things. But it does take adjustment. So this morning, for those of you who joined for morning meditation, we talked about being patient with yourself and being patient with others as we all figure this out. So those are important things, I think, in the time that we have right now. Oh, Samantha, I'm glad you enjoy class. It's good for us too. I can speak for me. I'm sure that our other instructors feel the same way as well. We miss all of you a lot, and it is difficult not to live with the energy that we have in the dojo every day, and not to be able to share our common purpose, our common training, our common energy is a big loss for all of us. I hope that for as long as we need to be digital, we can be digital and feel connected to each other. I think that's very important. Dion, I totally agree with you. It's really important to think about the positives, and being at home is nice, and not driving as much is nice, and looking at your training differently. Kaicho's been really kind of sending the message of this is a great time for Renma, polish, that sometimes in class, I talked about this in a couple of other classes as well, sometimes in class we just go so fast and we kind of get through things and then we go to the next thing and we're getting a great workout, but we're not spending a whole lot of time getting picky with ourselves. So this is a great time to really approach your training, take smaller bites and really work on things and make them really feel like you want them to feel. Emma, I'm glad to see that you have been able to settle in quickly. That's good. Dean, be careful. You're going to end up seeing your parents while you're in the garage cleaning it or something. No, I'm just kidding. But you're right. I think, Dean, I think one of the interesting things about this is for most of us, we have never, any of us, seen anything like this in our lifetime. I would imagine there are very few people who have experienced anything like a pandemic. And so I think one of the things that is so strange about this is no one really knows what to expect. So, you know, it's really important, I think, to find those calm spots, those quiet spots. And I think that, you know, it's important to remember that we're all trying to find our way through this together. And there's a certain amount of comfort in that, that we're in it together. So we'll stick together. Yes, definitely. I've seen a wonderful, it's come out many times on the internet of all these dogs that are just collapsed from exhaustion because their owners are constantly walking them because everyone's home now. So I think every dog on the planet is now getting more walk than they ever got in their entire lives, and more playing and more everything. So it's, you know, definitely a change of routine for all the members of our household, trying to get used to everyone being home all the time. But there are definitely positives that we can take our time to do those things we've always put off, or take more time for ourselves, slow down a little bit more, and find those calm, quiet transition points that can make us feel better about what's happening. Penelope, you need better treats, maybe. Bribe them. I was, Senpai Jen and Manny just said what I was thinking too, like the animals are not going to know what to do when we all go back to our usual normal. So it's going to be an interesting time for everybody. Oh, Slurry, I'm glad it's helpful for you. I know my training brings a sense of calm to my life too, so any chance to connect to that always makes the situation better for me. One of the things I would like to do, I'm not sure we'll get it on the schedule this week, but one of the things I'd like to do is just kind of have some open time where we can come together, probably on Zoom, so we can actually see each other and just chat. And it's not a karate class, it's not a meditation class, it's just we can log in and just kind of see each other and catch up, because one of the things that is, I think, so important, and one of the things that we love watching and seeing, is how you all connect with each other and how we all become part of each other's lives in one way or another. And though we can come together, we can type comments together, and we can even have class on Zoom, we can see each other, it's a little bit different than getting a chance to have some of the catch up before class, catch up after class, go out for a meal or something like that. So be on the lookout for a couple of purely social get-togethers, opportunities coming up, and we'll see what we can do for that. And again, with things like that, we'll try to vary the schedule so that people can pop in and pop out when they're available to. I certainly hope that if all of you who had, oh good, Dean, I'm glad you enjoyed youth class on Zoom. I think that's kind of a fun tool too. And please, if you are a young person or if you live with a young person, don't miss the dance party with Jun Shihan Robin on Friday. That's all I can say. Just make sure you don't miss the dance party with Jun Shihan Robin. So for those of you who'd like something more sedate, I'll be in charge of the non-dancing, non-party, just sitting around. That's what my job is. So, last, since there's lots of you here as well, don't forget, I have some office hours on Friday. If you'd like to sign up for a time to go over something, that's a perfect time to, if you've got like one kata or one something that you'd like to go over, we can have a 15, 20-minute get-together and we can go over some things so that you can feel like you can practice more confidently, knowing what, I can help you answer questions. So that's Friday from 10 to 11:30, and if you would like a time slot, just email and we can do that. And I'll continue that for as long as we need to continue that, and I'll move the day and the time around so that we can hit everybody's schedule a little bit, because I know some people are very flexible, and but not everybody is in terms of their other responsibilities, so we'll move that around as well. Okay, anything else? We'll wrap up so everybody can finish their evening. Yes, I agree. The Zoom is a great place where we can go back and forth. So Facebook is nice for just the, you can have a class, you can go back, you can rewatch it, you can, if you missed the live version, you can go back and watch it again, but there's nothing quite like going back and forth and having us be able to see each other. So it's good that, one thing that, last thing I'll say about all this is one of the pieces of gratitude that I have is that if this were to happen, at least it happened now when we have these tools available to us. I can't imagine if this were even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we would be at kind of a loss for how to stay connected with each other, let alone continuing to train. And so we're really very lucky that we have the tools that we have at our disposal. So that's a piece of gratitude that I absolutely have. So it's at least a way for us to all stay connected. So thank you all for coming. Really appreciate you taking the time out today, and especially to those of you who are kind of new to technology, new to connecting, and to those of you who spent even more than one class connected today. Thank you so much. Hope you all have a wonderful night, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.